Hey everyone, welcome to my first ever live Q&A. I hope you all are doing wonderful, and thank you everyone who submitted a question. I greatly appreciate it. If there's more interest in these, I can do some more in the future, but I have about 30 questions to answer from the community, and I will do my very best to answer them in a orderly fashion somewhere up here or over there, somewhere on the screen. These questions will be viewable as I'm answering them. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so question number 1 is by Kay. What was finding Maxi like for you as a demisexual person? Honestly, it was interesting because when I first met him, I had no attraction towards him, and I don't mean that in like a negative way. I just didn't feel any sexual attraction towards him. Like, obviously he's a good looking guy, but I really didn't feel anything like that at all. If anything, for me, I was just like, he seems really nice and, very chill and someone I would love to befriend. So yeah, for me, I don't think it was anything unnatural. It's just, I for me, really, I didn't have like any sexual attraction to him for a long time until we started dating. All right, so next question is, what made you become a streamer for Twitch? Great question, actually. So 4 years ago, when I first started streaming, I actually used to not be a streamer. I was a kind of a community manager, for like a lack of a better word, but mostly I helped out my friend Ray J Mel with her stream and helped her out with community, moderating and stuff like that. And through her and her community and their extreme generosity, I was given the opportunity to get a new computer that allowed me to start streaming. And initially, when I started streaming, I didn't plan for it to become what it is now, but I found it to be a way to, make friends, talk to people, because for a long time, actually, I used to be terrified to talk. I was a bit of a mute, and there's nothing wrong if you are a mute or, have mutism. It's totally fine, and you are loved and accepted. But it helped me get out of my bubble. And yeah. So, it was a way for me to share the games that I was passionate about, and, the rest is history. Next question is from Pod. Hi, yes, very important question. Why are you a nerd? Honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a nerd. I'm proud to be a nerd, and I know a lot of people do think being called a nerd is, in a negative manner, which I understand why they feel and think that way, but, for me, I'm very nerdy about certain things. Like, I can talk your head off about Harvest Moon and stuff like that. So I'm just a nerd because I am. All right, next question is from Alfina. How did you find Twitch? So when I first found Twitch, it used to be Justin TV, and that was way back when. And I remember I found out about it actually through a guild member of mine on World of Warcraft. They were talking about it, and I was like, the hell is that? So I checked it out, and then I actually didn't make an account until it became Twitch. For no reason really at the time. Like, I thought it was cool and everything. I watched Carnage and a lot of the OG streamers. But I never really thought to make an account. So my account's about 8 years old, and I think I made it back in 2012. So it's been a while, but yeah. I originally found it through World of Warcraft, and then eventually got into it in 2012. J-Rox, this is honestly an incredible question. Do you have any plans to branch out beyond streaming? Honestly, in an ideal world, if I was ever given the opportunity to be a community manager for a company or a game, or someone who runs social media and so on for a company or a game, that would be definitely a plan I would love to branch out to if I ever got the opportunity to. It's something I really, really am passionate about. Community management, something I love. I love, being, someone that people can come to with questions, what have you, about a game. And I know, obviously, and any community manager can say, like, it's not all sunshines and rainbows, but I would really enjoy being in that position because it's something I just enjoy doing. I am my community management skills honestly come from World of Warcraft and stuff of running guilds and being an officer in guilds and raid leading and all that stuff. It's just something I'm very passionate about, is being for the community and helping however I can. So yeah, definitely if I get the opportunity one day to branch out into, a field that's outside of streaming but still within the realm of video games, that would be incredible. Thank you for that awesome question. Music for Life 29 asks, if you could have any pet in the world, what would it be? A duck. Yeah. Ducks are honestly incredible. I think they're so cute. The only negative thing about them is their poop smells. But you can at least litter train them. So yeah, definitely a duck. David Tortilla ask, what is your favorite food? Honestly, I have like a favorite food for a lot of specific cuisines. So for me personally, if I had to really just pick one thing, it would probably be mashed potatoes and gravy. I love potatoes. Bucklow asks, what has been your most memorable moments of streaming, my streaming journey? Honestly, I would say meeting my community in person. TwitchCon 2018, I remember it was my first ever event, and I was beyond overwhelmed in the best ways possible because I didn't realize how many people like I affected. Most, I would say, in a predominantly positive way that I've stumbled across, and a lot of people came up to me and talked to me and hugged me and got photos and stuff, and I was just like in shock and awe. So I would definitely say in my streaming journey, it's definitely meeting you all. That's probably my most definite memorable moment. What is something you look for or want in games and something you try to avoid in games? Molly asks. Something I look for in games is honestly accessibility. So things like closed captioning and like colorblind mode, things like that. So I'm partially deaf, and so closed captioning is almost a must for me, so I can understand what the characters are saying. Because even though I have the sound really loud in my headset, there are times where I have a hard time articulating and understanding what they're saying. Something I try to avoid in games, bright colors, bright flashy colors. And it's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with like colorful scenic stuff, but I'll use, for example, Doom Eternal. It's a fantastic game, but whenever you kill a demon or a creature in that game, they explode with like colorful confetti of items and stuff, and the brightness is really jarring for me, and it gets kind of disorienting. So I would definitely say that, and I think the only other thing I could think of is really obnoxiously loud noises. A great example of that would be when I played Alan Wake. There would be these jump scares that would happen, but it was a very jarring, in a negative way, like screeching scream. It was an octave of a sound, like a pitch rather, excuse me, that my ears do not compute with. It usually will give me a headache after a while, but definitely accessibility and not bright colors and loud noises. Linksy asks, what game/console did you grow up playing if you gamed in your childhood? So that's also a great question. So the first ever game I played was alongside my brother. We played Doom. I think it was like 1996 or something. Needless to say, it was on a floppy disk many moons ago and those sort of thing. So that was the first game I played. But growing up, I would say my most favored consoles would have probably been the GameCube, Nintendo 64, and probably the PS2. I played an excessive amount of Harvest Moon on my GameCube with A Wonderful Life, Another Wonderful Life, and A Magical Melody. And then on Nintendo 64, I would play a lot of Conker's Bad Fur Day, Perfect Dark, Gotham Legends, Paper Mario, and who doesn't love Mario Party? Let's be honest. And PS2, I played a crap ton of Time Splitters. So much Time Splitters. Those are probably some of my favorite PS2 games. Hands down, all three of them. Big Dilf asks, is your cat the chunkiest, fluffiest cat in existence? Yes. Not really though. She's pretty floofy, but she's not the biggest kitty ever. But I love her to death. She's my chunky girl. Mo, aka VitaminB, asks, what advice would you give streamers starting out or trying to grow their channel? So, honestly, there are so many ways to grow a channel. I can only give advice to a certain extent on this because I'm obviously not a gigantic streamer. You know, I will say for those that grow and blow up to the sizes that some of these streamers get to, it's a lot of luck, and I'm very happy for them. I don't mean to sound like, I'm not saying that with spite or jealousy or anything. I think it's incredible. It does take a lot of luck. It's a lot of the right category game at the right time. But for those that are just trying to grow their channel at, like, you know, a smaller size, I would say, like, not even a smaller size, but, you know, a moderate size that most people average. I found for me at the beginning of streaming that if you don't have a webcam, or if you do have a webcam, talking is important. Being able to improv. So when I say that is when, say you have, you know, 20 or less people in your channel. There's not much activity going on. Your chat's not moving very much. But it doesn't mean that does not mean people aren't checking out your channel. And I found if you're not talking a lot, especially if you're like me and you don't use a webcam, they can't see if you're focused on the game. You know, generally you find yourself having to talk more, and you have to improv and not rely on your chat room to be your will, like, you know, your way of speaking. So I found when I first started streaming, playing games, you know, like RPGs and stuff really got me talking. But when I was also playing multiplayer games like Dead by Daylight, I found for me that I just had to talk about what I was doing, what I plan to do, what the killer's doing. You just gotta kind of talk to yourself, and it sometimes can even get people talking. Or if they come into your stream and they're lurking and checking you out, you're at least talking and, you know, keeping things going. So even if things aren't moving, it's really important to talk. Another thing is to build genuine relationships. And when I say that is, there's a difference between networking and friendships and like business partnerships. And it's really important that you have a genuine relationship with other streamers. Don't use people if you can. I know there's people that do that, and it's really not fun to deal with. I've dealt with it personally. But building genuine relationships is important. And I don't mean like, you know, going to someone like follow for follow. Don't do that. What I mean is get involved with their community if they're getting involved with yours, and vice versa. If you guys and gals and non-binary pals have, like, you know, similar communities, you know, get together more, you know, do, you know, co-op streams and stuff like that. Just network. Networking, talking to your stream. And another thing is consistency. That is probably one of the biggest things when it comes to growing your stream, is being consistent. And when I say that is you can only stream 2 hours a day, twice a week on these 2 specific days. Stay as consistent as you can with that. It's really important. And you don't have to play, you know, the game that's the popular game right now, unless you want to, by all means, but play what you want to play. It's really obvious to anyone, unless you are a phenomenal actor, actress, what have you. It's really obvious to people when you aren't enjoying a game, so make sure you're playing something that you enjoy. That's definitely some of the top, you know, tips I can give is just, you know, network, improv, talk to yourself if you must, talk to the game, what have you. Just keep conversations going, and yeah, it's consistency. And if you can't be consistent for whatever reason, just make sure you're using your social media. I know social media is kind of annoying to have, but it's good to have it to kind of foster and build your community. And one other tip I will give is when you're streaming, especially early on, even if you've been streaming for a long time, make sure you establish what kind of community you want to have. So, I mean, if you don't mind having a really meme and trolly community, as long as it's tasteful and non offensive, that's fine. If you want to have more of a wholesome, not so trolly meme community, that's fine too. Just make sure that you sort out what kind of community you want early on and just foster that and grow it, and don't let people take that away from you, because unfortunately when you let, for lack of a better word, bad eggs in, it usually can drive those people that you're trying to keep away. So I hope that helps. Next question is from Pan. How long have you been cosplaying? What is your favorite character, franchise, or genre to cosplay in? So I have been cosplaying for a while. I would say for 10 plus years. I didn't really get into really into cosplay until I got into Dead by Daylight. And I would definitely say my favorite genre of cosplays to work with are probably horror cosplays. I think they're so much fun and, really unique to do. And there's nothing wrong with doing cutesy cosplays, if you're gonna wear sexy armor, what have you, or full on, build armor. It's totally fine with me, but I personally really like doing killer cosplays, monster cosplays, and things like that. I think they're a lot more fun to do for me, and you can get really creative with them. So definitely that. Clubhouse asks, if you could go back and start over the whole streaming career, but keep the knowledge that you know of it all that you've gained along the way, would you do anything different or keep the journey the same? I would probably keep the journey the same. I think if anything, I would have kept using my webcam more often. I got really discouraged, unfortunately, early on because people would ask me about my face, aka my birthmark here. This is just a port wine stain. It's just discolored skin. And, just dealing with little stuff like that kind of got me down. And, I kind of wish I didn't let that happen. So definitely using my webcam more often and just being more comfortable with my appearance in front of the camera. What was your most favorite event? Definitely TwitchCon 2018. It was my first ever TwitchCon, and it was a very memorable event. I got to meet and see and spend time with so many friends, and I also got to see Max for the first time there as well. It was a very, very, very memorable event, and I'm very grateful that I even got to go. What's your favorite hobby outside of playing video games and streaming? Hockey Goalie asks. My favorite hobby, I would probably say, is probably cooking and baking. I'm a very, very passionate person about cooking and baking. I love feeding people, and I'm not the best at expressing myself, like my gratitude, vocally. I'm the person that just wants to give you your favorite food and make you snacks and homemade baked goods to show my gratitude. So definitely cooking and baking. Scruffing asks, what is your favorite place you've been to, and what is one place you want to visit one day? So I would definitely say Colorado. Colorado, specifically going to the Garden of the Gods. It is one of the most beautiful and serene places, and if you like being outdoors and hiking, I would highly recommend it. And one place I would love to visit one day is, it's kind of a tie between Japan, Tokyo, Japan, or Ireland, anywhere in Ireland. I would love to visit either of those countries one day. They're absolutely incredible. Luna asks, how did you get Bittie? So my cat Bittie, who you may see sometimes in the background there, I got her from a local shelter 10 years ago or so. And I remember I was still in school at the time, and I decided I wanted to get a new cat. I already had a cat, his name was JC, and I wanted to get another one. I already had a dog and cat. I was just kind of used to having a zoo, so I just wanted to get another baby. And I remember seeing that, a newsletter that we got to the house, big bundles of newsletters that my shelter just recently got a large amount of cats to the shelter, and they were a bit overrun, and they needed, they were pretty much setting a big adoption day up to get tons of kitties to new homes. And so my dad and I checked out the website. They had a wonderful little profile for all the kitties, and I remember seeing Bittie. And I was thinking to myself, like, my nickname at school is Bittie. I want to go meet her. And one of my things with adopting animals is I want them to adopt me. You will know when an animal adopts you. You can't mistake it. And so we went to the shelter and they showed me her, and she was about less than a year old at the time. She was a couple months old. She wasn't a kitty, but not a full-grown cat either. Well, kitten rather. And as soon as I picked her up, she like body slammed herself into my face and was purring and just like, take me home. And honestly, the rest is history. She's my sweet baby girl and sleeps on my face all the time, and I love her to death. And she just turned 10 recently, so. Pixie asks, has there been any one song that has helped you get through a difficult time in your life? Yes, actually. I think one that I can specifically think of is I'll Fly Away. The artist name is evading me, but it's a bit of a country song. And it reminds me of my grandmother, who influenced a lot of my life in a positive way, like who I want to be as a person. And just, you know, she did the best for me, and it was a song that she sung for me quite a bit. It's a bit of a sadder song, I will admit, but it brings good memories and brings comfort. Apex asks, which Steam achievements are you most proud of earning? Oh God, I can't really think of any off the top of my head because I haven't really looked at them, but I will say one of my proudest achievements on a game that I've ever gotten is actually an Xbox 360 when I actually completed all the extra modes on Left 4 Dead 2. Giraffe asks, what is your favorite non-pet animal? Follow-up question, why is it a giraffe? I actually love giraffes. They are incredible creatures. But I would say I have two, they're tied, I will say. My top two favorite non-pet creatures would probably be manatees and emus. I love them both so much. Allie asks, which game would you like to play again for the first time? Oh my goodness. If I got to choose a game to have no memory of and re-experience it again, it would probably be BioShock, hands down. Secret asks, what is the biggest dream / career path growing up that you wanted to do and would still be an interest of yours today? Honestly, growing up, I actually really wanted to be a professional ballerina. I loved ballet growing up. I used to be in ballet, but I unfortunately had to stop doing dance because I have weak ankles that unfortunately became an issue, even with physical therapy and stuff. But definitely, if I could ever in my dreams be a ballerina again, I would love to be one. Resistor asks, how did you and Maxi meet? So I met Max back in 2018 here on Twitch. Well, even though this is going to be on YouTube. But anyways, so I met him through our, at the time, stream team, Team Sin Squad, that was ran by Kaylee and Rin. And I remember one night I was playing Sea of Thieves and I was like, you know what? I should probably, try to get to know some more team members. Like, I knew a couple folks. I didn't know who was kind of like the late night, crew. And I saw Maxi was playing God of War, the most recent one that came out. I was like, oh, he seems cool. So I hosted him and, hung out for a bit, and I will never forget. And mind you, I know of Silent Hill, but I've never watched it before. But I remember when someone very graciously gifted me a sub to his channel, and I heard the Silent Hill dog ending, and for those that don't know, it has a moan at the and I was just like, okay. And so, a couple days went by, and I reached out to him in Twitter DMs. We went back and forth, for a couple months, and, the rest is history. We met up at TwitchCon 2018 for the first time, and, just kind of hit it off, and, eventually started dating down the road. So yeah, I met him through Twitch. I know the meme is Twitch is not a dating site, and obviously it's not, but, things do happen. Julia asks, how did you get into Dead by Daylight and know that you want to be as one of your main games to stream? So I have been playing Dead by Daylight for the past 4 years since before streaming. Actually, I played it long before streaming. But when I first started streaming, I honestly, thought to myself like, yeah, like I I think I could play this on stream, or at least, I don't know if people would like watching me, but definitely give it a try. And I'm very fortunate that people do enjoy watching me. And I just, I try to play games that I enjoy playing on stream. I try to avoid playing games that, I don't like at all. Dead by Daylight nowadays, though, I will admit, is a bit of a tiring game for me just because I played it so much. But, back in the day, it was definitely a game I really loved and enjoyed, and I still love and enjoy it now. It has brought many, many, many opportunities that I'm very grateful for. And I know with the upcoming chapter, with the Blight and Felix, it will definitely breathe some life back into the game to make it enjoyable again. Because let me tell you, I'm excited for the generator animations. So yeah, I just, for me personally, I think it's good to, just play games that you enjoy. And I found Dead by Daylight to be one of those games. Music for Life asks, would you ever get any exotic animals like a hamster or guinea pig? So interesting fact, I actually had hamster and guinea pigs growing up, and I loved them to death. I can't really think of many exotic animals I would maybe get outside, like a pet duck. But yeah, that's about it. Maybe a pet duck. I love them so much. Silver asks, what was the first video game you remember playing? Doom on a floppy disk. Juan asks, do you have a favorite World of Warcraft NPC? Yes. Ysera is my favorite. The Emerald Consort, the queen herself. And let me tell you, spoiler alert, when she died, I cried. I needed like 5 minutes before going back to leveling. I was so distraught when that happened because she has been my favorite lore character since I could remember. I love her to death. Boxing Chris asks, what is one thing you would change from your past that would affect your future self? Honestly, I would change nothing. My past has made me who I am today. There has been a lot of hardships, struggles, self-growth and more, but I would not change anything because, if I changed anything in my past, I don't know if I would be the person I am today. Darkest says, why did you end up using the name Bittie as your Twitch name? And is there a story behind it besides Bittie Kitty? Thank you for the question. So my nickname is Bittie in real life because I am 4'11" or 100 centimeters in height. It was a nickname I got back in high school. My friends used to call me fun sized, and they're like, yeah, we can't call you fun sized. We're gonna call you Bittie. And so it's just because I'm small, I'm tiny, and I'm Bittie. Z asks, if you live in any country or state of your choosing, where would it be? If I could live in a different country, I would love to live in Canada or even somewhere like Japan. If I could live in a different state than I currently live right now in California, I would love to live somewhere like Oregon or Colorado. Juan asks, do you have a favorite dessert? I do. I love French silk pies with an Oreo cookie crust. Perfection. Allie asked a number of questions, and these are the last ones we have. If I could travel to any place in the world for one day, where would I go? Italy. Absolutely Italy. Oh my gosh, I would love to experience the food there. Would you ever go on to a cooking show if you had the chance? Yes. I would be terrified because I have stage fright, but yes. What would your superpower be? If I had a superpower, I'd love the ability to talk to animals. Can I hug you? Of course, Allie. Come here, baby. Bring it in. I would love to. But that is all the questions I have for this Q&A. If you guys and gals and non-binary pals are interested in more in the future, please let me know in the Discord or in the comments below or by liking the video. Thank you all so much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And be sure to check out my social media links down below in the description box. And have a wonderful day. Thank you so much again. Bye!